So, Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook were traded for each other. I'm getting to this topic pretty late, but whatever. I actually think this trade is sensible for both teams. Starting with the Rockets, I do realize the fit between Harden and Westbrook is really awkward, especially with Mike D'Antoni as the coach. I don't know how good this team will be. I doubt they'll win the title, but I don't really fault the Rockets for making this move because they had to try something different. Chris Paul is getting old. He looked much worse in his second season in Houston than he did in his first season. At age 34, he's clearly declining. Additionally, Chris is injury prone. They had the Warriors on the ropes in 2018 and blew it because Chris Paul got injured again. Your body doesn't heal as well as you get older, so Chris's injury problems will likely only get worse. And yeah, sure, Russell Westbrook is on the decline as well, and has also been fairly injury prone the last couple of years, but at this point in his career, he is a significantly better basketball player than Chris Paul. I don't know if Westbrook and Harden will work, but I do know for sure that CP3 and Harden's championship window had closed, and that's kind of my point. Due to CP3's decline, you knew the Rockets were never going to win a championship. I think having Westbrook at least gives them a chance. It's something different, something we don't really know the full potential of. At least we don't know for sure what the full potential is. As for more on the court stuff, Westbrook does give the Rockets more athleticism, which could create easier shots in transition offense. In the half court, Russ could be an elite cutter to the basket. Russ also gives the Rockets better rebounding. If you saw Game 6 of the Houston-Golden State series this year, you know that securing defensive rebounds was an issue for the Rockets. They were 28th in the NBA in rebounding this past season. Moving on to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I've seen a lot of people say that this was a bad trade for them because they exchanged one bad contract for another. I don't really understand the logic behind this argument because the Thunder are rebuilding. They are not going to be winning anything anytime soon, so it doesn't really matter if they have a bad contract for a couple of years. I think this was a good trade for them because it accomplished 3 goals. 1, they did right by their franchise player by sending him to a team he wanted to go to. 2, Chris Paul, at this point in his career, is a much worse player than Westbrook and is more injury prone, which means he'll likely miss a decent amount of games next season. As a result of those 2 things, the Thunder will be a worse team than they would have been with Westbrook, so they'll have an even better chance of picking higher in the lottery. And 3, they got more future draft picks to help with their rebuild. This was all around a pretty good trade for the Thunder. I don't really see a downside. This trade was good for both parties. Although, because of the draft picks they gave up, this trade could potentially be devastating for Houston if Russ and Harden don't work, and I'd say there's a pretty good chance it won't. Regardless, I still think this was a risk worth taking. Really, the only loser in this transaction is Chris Paul. I'm guessing Westbrook probably wishes he could have spent his whole career in Oklahoma City Thunder, but given the situation, I think he's content where he ended up. Chris Paul, on the other hand, went from playing on a contender to a lottery team. That's tough. And they won't buy him out or anything because of his absurdly large contract. He'll be wasting the last few years of his career. His chances of capturing that elusive title he so desperately covets are going down. He's still getting paid though.